Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of From the Chair Where Inclusion Matters. Our hosts this evening, ladies, please be ready. Gentlemen, shut the fuck up for once and let this man take his robe off for the sexy ladies. Introducing to you Mr. Randy Rude.
There's a new entrance for me I've never had before. I like it. I like it. How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty amazing, guys. I am super excited. We are 1 week away from our next event, and we are on the verge of what's called a triple sellout because we sold out, we added extra seats, we sold those, and we've added a third group of extra seats, and we're down to like 19 seats left with a week left before the show. Yeah, this is going to be one of the biggest crowds in CSW history. We're getting ready for it's the Red Rock Rumble. 40 wrestlers entering this Rumble, guys. 40 wrestlers.
Damn.
The winner gets to main event our massive charity event we do every year that's called Headlocks for Hospice, where we raise money for nonprofit hospice care. And I mean, the honor to be able to main event that is so massive that we had 40 wrestlers. We actually had more than that. We're still having wrestlers asking if they can get in it, but we capped it off at 40. But yeah, this is a battle royal, a rumble match of anybody can win this thing. And main event, another sold out crowd. It's going to be great. It's what we do. It's why we call ourselves the CSW family. Our fans are so dedicated, such a fan base, that they deserve the title of family, 100%. And welcome to the CSW family, guys.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, okay, our first question is, how was CSW formed?
Okay, so CSW was formed by the founder, Chris Chavez. He founded it back in 2016. Unfortunately, he was killed in a car accident just about a year and a half to 2 years later. And after that, his wife, Susan, took over running it until I came in. I started off with, like you guys, I was a podcast host, The Rude Awakening, hosted by Randy Rude. And I started getting more into CSW. They asked me to start managing a couple wrestlers. Dumb luck fell into my hand. They asked me to book a show, and it was a smash hit. And next thing you know, I'm owning the company. I bought it back in 2019. And since then, we've just flourished, and I couldn't be happier. And I owe it all to Chris Chavez, the founder. He's an amazing man.
That's awesome. That gives us hope for bigger and better things from, starting at a podcast level. So,
Hey, anything can happen, guys.
All right. The next question is: how was your transition from an entertainer to owner?
It was surprisingly easy for me because, as far as an entertainer goes, like I said, guys, I started as a podcast host, and then I went into a manager's role. Now I'm very interactive at the CSW events. I always go out there at the beginning of the show. I come out at intermission, make sure the fans are having a really good time. We give away a bunch of stuff at the intermission. We always throw out a bunch of exclusive CSW water bottles that are made just for that event every month. We tend to do a lot of cool charity things. We have a group that's just finally gotten its name by the parents, known as Roots Heroes. It's all my every year I select one of my special needs children and they get a full-blown custom-made CSW championship belt. It's our gift to them,
Very cool.
and they are called Rude's Heroes. And it's we do it every June. So Headlocks for Hospice, we're going to induct another member to Rude's Heroes. We're super excited. It's amazing, guys. So yeah, the transition for me was really easy because I still get to interact with all my fans and the family and love life. It's very hard because on that same note, now I'm the booker, the story writer, the main guy who has to answer for anything, and there's a lot included in that. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I love it.
Very cool. And that Rude's Heroes thing means a lot to all three of us because Pat and I are Special Olympics athletes, and Tony's kind of a advisory coach.
That's awesome, guys. Anything I try to emphasize that anybody can help anyone at any time. There's no rule book out there that says you have to meet these guidelines to do good things for people. You just go out there and do it, to be honest.
Yeah, last fall, Nathan and I completed Special Olympics ambassador training.
Yep.
That's awesome, guys. That is very awesome. And that's the way to show that, that's what we do with Rude's Heroes. These kids, they're heroes. They come out there. I want them to know. As a matter of fact, 2 of the heroes have actually won their titles when we were presenting them to them because some wise guy would get in the ring, challenge them to a match. How they got knocked out, I don't know. My back was turned when that happened, but they were laid out, so the kids got to pin them, and we shot confetti in the air, and these kids won their championship belts. They didn't just get it handed to them; they actually won it in front of a sold-out crowd.
That's amazing.
The right way.
So, the next question is, can you tell us about your talent and who are your champions?
So our talent's very vast. I mean, we book wrestlers from all over the globe, to be honest. But we have a very good, solid group of wrestlers. Our champion right now is the insatiable Johnny Crash. One of the greatest Colorado independent wrestlers of all time. He is loved by thousands across this place. Any show he goes to, they lose their minds. And he actually won it this February at Rudapalooza 5. I don't know where that name came from, but yeah, Johnny Crash is the CSW champion. He'll actually be defending his belt this next Saturday on the 16th at Red Rock Rumble the 15th for against I Am the Provider, the former CSW champion. So this is a rematch, and these two have got a history going back well over a decade. Our tag team champions are Los Carnales, and they are an amazing tag team. If you guys get a chance, check them out. They are entertaining. They are amazing wrestlers. Well, obviously, they're the CSW tag team champs. And then I have to give a shout out to our women's champion, Tyra Rustamay. She has been the women's champ almost on 1 year now. If she makes it all the way to June, she will be the CSW women's champion for 1 full year. So an amazing wrestler. Our women's division has some of the best hard-hitting, tough women out there. We also pride ourselves on safe space of professional wrestling is one of the things that we emphasize on. Is if you want to be a professional wrestler, you go to school, you learn, and then you come to CSW, and I'm gonna put you in front of hundreds of fans to be a professional wrestler. There's just like doing charity work. There's a place in professional wrestling for everyone out there. I mean, you guys, you're out, you're doing your podcast. You're doing your thing. It's an amazing thing.
Who are some of your up and coming stars?
My up and coming stars. Definitely Pandemonium. She is amazing. She's super hard hitting. Cadaver, they are instant. They made their debut 3 months ago, and have just instantly become a star. I mean, Jack Dillon. He's been on the injured list, but he just announced that the last month's show that he is going to be coming back. Jack Dillon, be ready to hear that name, guys. I guarantee you're going to hear it a lot in the future. Probably on television, to be perfectly honest. He is such an amazing athlete. He will be on CSW Saturday Nights, our YouTube show as well. So you guys make sure and check that out, because you can see all of these wrestlers I've been talking about on there. We got Husty Steele. She's amazing. We've got Goody Floyd. This guy looks like he eats about 50 pounds of beef and then does 600 push-ups every day. He's so phenomenal. Type 1 Warrior. That is an inspirational wrestler, if there ever was. A new up-and-comer, not even 2 years into this business. He type 2 diabetes, and he still goes out there and fights with some of the best. He just fought Ryzen from AEW at one of our last shows. So, and don't forget, oh my God, he's going to slap me. The CSW 719 champion may happen to be AEW's own Ryzen. So, yeah, he's probably going to beat me up when he sees me next time. That's what Ryzen does. But no, he is really a major part of CSW. He's a former CSW champion. He's the current 719 champion. Definitely, he's doing a lot of stuff now. He's done stuff with like Matt Hardy in AEW, and the guy is great. He's evil, but he's great. And there may or may not be a Ryzen flag in my base, in my arcade.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah. I mean, guys, the talent in CSW is phenomenal. I could go for days. I mean, we have a 40-person Rumble match ready to happen next Saturday. That tells you how much up-and-coming talent we have in CSW.
Very cool. So you touched on it a little bit there. We saw on a flyer that you had the Red Rock Rumble. Can you explain how that concept came about and what it is?
So, we're all wrestling fans of tradition, and we all love the infamous Royal Rumble match, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do something, but we wanted to make it our own. Like we wanted to take that concept, but you have to. I'm always a person of make something you. That's a big thing right there. Is if you're gonna do something, you're gonna take things from other ideas that have come in the world, because let's be honest, there's no such thing as an original idea anymore. But you got to make it your own. And we came up with the idea of the Red Rock Rumble, and it's the same basic concept that the two wrestlers start, and then every 60 seconds another wrestler comes out until all 40 wrestlers have come out. The winner of that match gets to main event Headlocks for Hospice, our major hospice fundraiser that we do every year. But this Red Rock Rumble is open to all wrestlers that wanted to sign up. That doesn't matter if you are a male wrestler, a female wrestler, if you're a non-binary wrestler, you can enter the Red Rock Rumble. And let me tell you what, we have them all. This match is going to be, I will guarantee Ryzen is in the Red Rock Rumble match.
That's going to be a tough one to beat.
Yes, we have Marlon Bishop getting ready to wrestle at this show against Killian Crow, and they're both going to be in the Rumble match. And Marlon Bishop is a former NFL player. So this is going to be a massive, massive match right here.
Very cool. And just as a curiosity thing, is that named after the Red Rock Amphitheater in Colorado?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. The Red Rocks is, there's a lot of places in Colorado that are referred to as the Red Rocks, but the most historical and well-known one is the Red Rock Amphitheater. It's such a historical place, which I've been to. I actually, when I was doing music, I got to perform on that stage. It's an iconic place that if you're ever in Colorado, you need to go see it. It just, because it's built on the side of a mountain. But unfortunately, we're not doing our show there because we're not quite at that level. But we're at Sunshine Studios Live in Colorado Springs. It's our home and has been for 3 years. It's an amazing venue. Our setup is such a wonderful setup with the lights and the sound and the special effects and smoke machines and we have a Titantron for entrance videos and the ramp that comes down. That we do our best with the little bit we have to make our fans feel like it's the greatest wrestling show they've ever seen in their lives.
Very cool.
Could you tell us about the biggest rivalry in your company today?
Our biggest rivalry right now would be I Am the Provider and Johnny Crash. That one has, like I said, they've wrestled around each other, with each other, against each other for well over a decade. They just had one of the most historic matches in CSW history at Rudapalooza 5 when Johnny Crash defeated I Am the Provider for the CSW Championship. And they're getting ready to have their rematch next Saturday at Red Rock Rumble. It's a great, great historic rivalry. There are a lot of them that have just, there's Big Guns Justin Andrews. He is one of our founding wrestlers of CSW, and he has had rivalries over the past 6-7 years that are just they're historic. But right now I would definitely say Johnny Crash, I Am the Provider is such a great rivalry right there.
Okay. What is the best match that your company has done to date? And who are the wrestlers involved?
Ooh, that's a tough one right there. Wow.
Well, you can answer that one as long as that's not going to get you in trouble later. In the locker.
And I hate to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to say I Am the Provider and Johnny Crash Rudapalooza 5. Strictly on, I'll tell you what, guys, after this, I'll send you a link to see some of the fan footage of this. The reaction when Johnny Crash won that title. But match-wise, wrestling-wise, you have the Douche Bros versus Los Carnales for the CSW titles. That was such an amazing match. There's a rumor that Randy Rude had himself one heck of a banger of a match against Romeo and Caged at Rudapalooza 5 as well. I ain't gonna get no spoilers, but I may still be undefeated. But yes, guys, every month we sit there and say that was the greatest match in CSW history. These guys go out there and every single month they seem to surprise me and all the CSW family. But it's going to be hard to beat when Johnny Crash won the CSW championship. It's going to be damn near impossible to beat that moment.
Gonna have to definitely check out the Johnny Crash.
Yes, you are. The Crash Daddy.
What is the best gimmick match you have done to date?
So I'm an old school fan. I like old gimmick matches, and I would have to say my favorite one was when we did a dog collar match for the CSW Women's Championship.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was as good as you guys are imagining, if I'm gonna be perfectly honest.
Ooh.
It was Tyra Rusame against Daddy Doom, and they did not hold back. It was one of the most brutal matches I've ever seen in CSW history. I am talking Greg the Hammer and Roddy Piper style.
Ooh.
These two women, there may have been some broken bones after this match when they were done, because it was just, it was so good. And Tyra won. That was when Tyra won the CSW Women's Championship. So yeah,
Sounds like
that would be my.
it sounds like a match that I watched between Buddy Rose and Rowdy Piper in Portland when they did the dog collar match.
That's
This isn't.
hey, Piper is the master of the dog collar match.
Yes, he is.
But it's one of my favorites, always has been. So when I got the chance, you bet. And it's been a little while since I've had a dog collar match, so it might be time for me to blow the dust off that thing and see who's ready to get down on a dog collar match again. And there is also rumors of us building our steel cage. So when we get that steel cage done, that's going to be a whole nother level for us. But the best one we've done so far, dog collar match. We've had some table matches that have been amazing. But it still just goes up there, especially because of the women just showing that, just because they're women doesn't mean they can't beat the shit out of each other. Sorry, I'm allowed to say that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
you should be.
Okay, all right, cool. All right.
And I'm a wrestling historian. I think that's one of the only times there's been a woman dog collar match.
I haven't seen very many of them. I'm sure there are. I guarantee there's been some, but not any of them that really stick out. That one was definitely one of the greatest matches in CSW history. Was that match right there?
And we'd like to thank our first sponsor, which is Bruce, which is the CARE program, which stands for Community Action Reaching Everybody. If you guys are interested in that, you can contact Becky Bernhardt on Facebook. So then the next question is, how did your company choose who the best teams and wrestlers were for your champions?
A lot of that goes off of the CSW family. The wrestlers feed off of that energy. I feed off that energy. When I hear a great tag team that's really getting that family riled up, and I look at the eyes of these little children out in the crowd and they're losing their minds, there's a good chance there's probably gold in their future. So I'd say, the family.
Makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Think you got the next one, Pat.
What advice would you give a person wanting to be a professional wrestler?
Go to a wrestling school. That's going to be the first advice I give anyone, whether you want to be a professional wrestler, whether you want to be a manager, a referee, ring announcer. Go to a professional wrestling school. That is going to be the first step to become a true entertainer. It helps. It really, really helps. You get to learn a lot of stuff that you think you know, but then when you go to these schools, you find out you didn't know as much as you thought you did. I can vouch for that. But yes, You want to be a wrestler? Go to a school, get trained, get certified as a wrestler, and then people like me are going to notice and book you.
That's very good advice.
Thank you.
So, we watched one of your recent pay-per-views, and we're very impressed with Pandemonium. Can you tell us a little bit about her?
Well, that's funny because we were when you were talking about the up and coming ones, Pandemonium. She is amazing. She's actually in a tag team match against Morgan Mercy and Kay Daver, and she has a surprise tag team partner for this show. So who knows who that could be? But Panda is such an inspirational wrestler. You see so many little girls out in the crowd that just look at her like a hero. She's really come very far in such a short time, and I can't wait to see where she's going to go in the future. And she is in the Red Rock Rumble match too, by the way. We'll throw that in there.
Very cool.
How did you get the idea of Mop Man?
Oh, Mop Boy.
Or Mop Boy, yeah.
Mop Boy. So that's his idea. That's his gimmick. He's been in CSW for years, even before I was around. He's a former CSW champion, to be perfectly honest. He held it for the shortest time of any champion there it's ever been, but he still was the champion. But now he is actually the TikTok World Champion. He just won it last month. But what can I say? Sometimes a guy don't have time to change his clothes when he gets off work, and he just kept wearing his mopping gear. And he does his thing. I mean, he is the Mop Boy. He's a good wrestler for a guy who mops all day.
Well, it must keep him in pretty good shape.
He's got a hell of them forearms are pretty solid.
Okay, you touched on one of these earlier, but what can you tell us about Taya Ruthame and Joan Jetson? From what we've seen, they're both very talented wrestlers.
Oh, yes. Joan Jetson actually just made her return to CSW last month. Amazing wrestler. She took on Tyra Ruthame for the CSW Women's Championship. Joan Jetson, great wrestler. She's been a friend of ours, and she's become a friend of mine. Love having her around, and anytime she's in that ring, guaranteed you're going to get some high-flying action. She's all about space and flying, and she shows it in the ring. Now, Tyra Ruthame, that is the CSW Women's Champion. She has been for almost a year now. She has defended the CSW Women's Championship every single month for the last year, and she has successfully defended it. So she is from the land of smiles, Bangkok. She's a Thailand girl. But she is such a wonderful person too. You wouldn't be able to tell that when you watch her in the ring, because she's really tough. Obviously, she's had that belt for almost a year, but just the sweetest person. She loves the CSW family, every single one of them. It's her honor to defend that title every month out there for those amazing fans.
How did you come up with the
Sounds like
idea?
a champion to be proud of, unlike Roman Reigns.
That is true.
There you go. See.
How did you come up with the idea of a TikTok championship?
So that's actually not my idea. I got to give credit where credit's due. That's Jalen who is also he's one of our sponsors for Meltdown Media, and they started with this belt at the school, Empower Professional Wrestling School. That's where all of our like a lot of our main talent has come from this school. It's right here in Colorado Springs. They're one of our sponsors. And I would go to this school and I'd see them with this belt and they were putting it on the internet. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And I was like, well, you know what? Let's do a match at a pre-show and see what happens. And it blew up. And then it became this big thing. And, you know, I just let these kids represent that belt at my company. I'm proud of it. I am super, super proud of it. And I'm proud of the fact that I don't own it. And it is not CSW's. But it's these kids that had a dream about this belt. And I'm just trying to help them live that dream. You know, and it's become such a wonderful thing now.
From a promoter standpoint, do you ever struggle coming up with match ideas? And the reason I ask that is I was at a training school and I was the booker for a while, so I know that sometimes it's a little challenging to come up with stories over and over and over again.
It is. You know, one of the hard parts of being one of the top promoters, you know, one of the top companies in the state is you have to stay there. And you have to constantly be trying to come up with these new ideas, new ways to amaze the CSW family. And I've been blessed. I'm truly blessed, 100%, because the wrestlers I have are always ready to try a shot in the dark and see if it works. And not all the time it does, but when it does, it's so sweet. When we hear that pop, that roar, it's priceless. But yeah, it is very, very hard, especially because you don't want to do anything that anyone else is doing. And when you literally have, I want to say 9 different wrestling organizations in Colorado, it's very tricky to stay original. But we managed to do it.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
What was your favorite match growing up?
All right, so God, you guys got some good ones. That's a really. I'm sitting there going, oh dang! I thought they were gonna ask about, you know, the stuff about like on my charity where I get asked that all day. That's my favorite match. Now I got to put some contemplation on this. All right. I would say it's the first match I actually remember when I was a child, because I was there, and it was WrestleMania 2. And it was Hulk Hogan against King Kong Bundy in the steel cage match.
Oh,
So that match is super near and dear to my heart because it was the moment I became obsessed with Hogan. And I still am to this day. He's my favorite of all time. You know, but yeah, I would say Hogan and Bundy, steel cage. I'm an 80% lock that one in because there's too many other ones that. Oh, sorry, I have people buying tickets while we're talking. So we only have less than 25 tickets left for the Red Rock Rumble, and we will probably sell out well before the event ever gets here. So another cheap plug for the Red Rock Rumble.
So see, Nathan, you're not the only one that likes Hogan.
No, that's something you and I have in common. Hogan's the one that got me into wrestling too. So
we got us a smart one in here, a Hulkamaniac. I like that.
I always idolized him as a kid.
Well, we all grew up in that era where you didn't really get a choice if you were a wrestling fan because, let's be honest, he was Hogan. Okay, in the 80s, 90s, that guy was. So, you know,
I kind of like the fact that he used to be managed by Classy Freddie Blassie.
Oh, absolutely. That was, before he became the Hulkster.
Yeah,
That was
he was
kind
a
of.
heel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was Harry Boulder. So now we'd like to say thank you to our second sponsor, which is Bruce Nichols Painting. You can go to him for all your painting needs and pressure washing and lead removal, I believe. And he's taking bids today, so you can look him up. So, what are your future goals for Colorado Springs Wrestling?
My future goals are just to keep entertaining the CSW family, to keep doing good things for good people, raising money for charities. I hope this year at our Headlocks for Hospice, I want to raise $10,000 this year. I've gotten close. 1 year we did raise $9,900. So we have gotten almost there, and I want to do that. It's something near and dear to my heart. I love hospice care like no other. And I came up with the event of Headlocks for Hospice. My future goal 100% is to watch that event become a major event, and it will. During the pandemic, it was actually held as a telethon because we were only allowed 40 people in the building. So what we did is we broke it into 3 2-hour time frames, and we did tickets to each 2-hour time frame, and we just did a full day telethon to raise money for hospice care. Which, as far as I've been able to find, is the only professional wrestling telethon in history. So I still have yet to find any other information of a professional wrestling telethon before us.
I would agree with that. I think that's the first one.
So yes, as long as I don't want to be the biggest horse in the race. I just want to be good enough to do what's right, entertain the fans, make sure people when they leave my venue that they've had the best time they've ever had at a wrestling show, and make sure my wrestlers feel the same way too when they leave, that they can't wait to come back and wrestle for us. And that's exactly what we get. I mean, when you have people like Brutal Bob Evans, who is an amazing, legendary wrestler, he's trained some of the greatest wrestlers out there. He helped train Cody Rhodes, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. I could go for days. Brutal Bob Evans. If you watch the first episode of CSW Saturday Nights, he stands in my ring and tells the nation how amazing CSW is and how amazing the CSW family is. That blew my mind right there. So the goals are just to keep doing that right there.
Yeah, you talked a lot about female wrestling. I think he also trained Kelly Klein from ROH.
Absolutely. He is trained. The list is a mile long of people that he is. Yeah, absolutely. And he is passionate about CSW. He spent the night at my house, and we've sat there and had coffee and talked about professional wrestling and what people need to remember about it. And it's not about being the biggest star. It's just about going out there and entertaining, and for 3 hours, let people forget about all the crap out in the world, because there's too much of it as there is. Just think about being entertained and having a good time. All right. Love me, hate me, come out there and just have fun. That's all I care.
What would be the dream card as the promoter to present to your fans?
Oh. You guys are I love it. I'm gonna say my dream card is always my next card, guys. The dream card is always the next one that I can present. Now, I am gonna say my Headlocks for Hospice card that I have lined up is gonna, as far as the wrestlers, because yeah, I love bringing in other wrestlers. I mean, Shark Boys came and wrestled for us. I actually got stunned by Shark Boy back when I was running the UWO, the Ugly World Order. But yes, it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. I may or may not have stapled a UWO shirt to Big Guns Justin Andrews' chest in front of 300 people.
Ouch.
Hey,
Well, that's one way to get a shirt on somebody.
right. It's a great gimmick. But yeah, it's
Now, hospice is near and dear to my heart because my dad passed away in 2019 in hospice.
well.
So,
I'm sorry
and
that
they
he
were
passed away,
awesome.
but I am very glad that he did have hospice. I worked in hospice care for 3 years, guys, and I touched, I helped a lot of families, and it made it where it's become a part of my life permanently. Even after I've left I haven't worked in hospice for over 6 years, but it's like I said, every year, the company I worked for, they're the ones I chose. They're a nonprofit organization in Southern Colorado, and I didn't know this. I'm super honored about this, but apparently I am their largest donating profiter. I never intended to do that, but it's super cool to be able to say that an independent professional wrestling promoter is the highest raising charity provider for a hospice care.
That's amazing.
That is very amazing.
It really, really is. In 3 years, we've raised over $30,000 for this hospice.
Nice.
So it's such a wonderful thing that we've been able to do that.
Why'd they put him in back?
Okay, in your opinion, what was the one thing that you would change about the wrestling business and why?
Honestly, and I hate to say it because of where we are right now, but the freaking internet.
No, I get that.
Oh, okay. I know, and it sounds so weird saying that on a podcast, but God, back when we were young, there was no way to get a spoiler. There was no way to know that somebody was backstage. You found out when the music hit and they came walking out, or the days of that are gone. I try my hardest at CSW to keep my fans surprised. I keep all storylines and anyone that's making returns. I really, really hold it pretty near and dear and tight because I want them to experience that. But yeah, I love the internet because it provides so much for us, and it's an amazing entertainment platform. But it's frustrating when the spoilers are thrown all over the place.
I would have to agree with that. The shock and awe values, kind of missing nowadays. At least on the ones you watch on TV so much.
True.
How did you get your start in professional wrestling?
To be honest, it was all because of my wonderful wife. I've been married for almost 15 years, and I got sober about almost 6 years ago. And when I first stopped drinking, my wife was trying to find something for me to get into. And I've loved professional wrestling my whole life. I've been going to shows forever. It's always been part of me. And she bought tickets to CSW. And I went to a show. I sat in the crowd. And by the time I left, it turned out two of the guys wrestling were people I used to do music with. And they kind of looked at me and said, why are you not part of this? Like, you belong in this. And I never looked back. That's when I started the Rude Awakening, and it's just been going from there.
Very cool. What is your favorite wrestling actor? The Rock, The Miz, John Cena, or Batista?
All right, I'm trying to be nice on this one. Let's see. Edge.
Didn't think of that one. That's a good one.
I
Yeah.
forgot he was in a
Touche.
couple movies.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Plus, he was in Eureka.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Huh?
Touche.
So I just wrote that one in. You like how I did that?
No, I did like how you did that. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Pat, I think you're on
Yeah.
the next one.
You want to do the break, Nathan? Because you know the sponsors
Oh.
more than I do.
Let's see. I don't know if we have another sponsor. Oh, yes, we do. I'm sorry. Steve Dodge or Big Money Steve Dodge.
No, no.
You would get mad at me.
Get it right. It's Big Money Dodge, Nos. You just bought your company, dude. Get it right.
He bought my company, and yet I see no money.
That's because I sold it from underneath you because he knows what he's doing, unlike you.
Like I told you at the beginning before he came on, you'll be seeing my lawyer, his Johnny Cochran's cousin, who's in a wheelchair. You know why? You know why I picked him? He's half price.
Oh, that's so. All
What
right, that
is
was good. That's a good one.
What is your bloodiest match to date, and who was involved?
So that would. I would probably say Big Guns, Justin Andrews, and wow, surprise, surprise, the insatiable Johnny Crash. They had a match for the CSW Hardcore title that ended with me taking a staple gun and stapling a UWO shirt to Big Guns' chest. Before that, there was a bed of thumbtacks, a table covered in mouse traps. It was pretty intense. So I would have to put that one there.
All right, we're going down the road.
Who has been your biggest talent you have promoted? Have promoted and has made it to the 4 top promotions. So like AEW, WWE, Impact, or MLW.
Well, it's definitely Ryzen. I mean, he's still wrestling for us, and he's on AEW right now. So yeah, I absolutely have to go with Ryzen. But now I got to give amazing props because last time AEW was in Colorado, Tyre Rusame was on AEW along with, I believe, 10 other Colorado wrestlers that have all wrestled in CSW.
I believe she was on Elevation,
Yep,
if I
she sure
remember
was.
that.
Yep, she sure was. So was Big Guns Justin Andrews, who happened to tag team with Ryzen.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. So those are some of my amazing talented guys that you can still see at CSW.
And I've seen those matches, and they were very good matches up in AEW. So
Absolutely.
What is your favorite cookie and why?
Now, see, we're getting into the real questions here, guys. Okay. Now it's getting serious. All right. My favorite cookie, because I have to just say it's a white chocolate macadamia nut.
ooh, I like that choice.
And
Really
it's
good
because
choice.
I used to run a Subway and I ate a whole lot of those because nobody would buy them. And I learned to love them. So
All right. If you didn't become a pro wrestler or a wrestler, what would you be doing?
being a husband and a father, raising my 4 sons and being happily married to my wife, which I am still. But as long as I'm doing that, to be perfectly honest, I don't care what I'm doing. I got my wife and my kids. I'm a happy man.
That's all you could ask for.
Mm-hmm.
What was the best advice anyone has given you personally or professionally?
So that would be actually something I said a little while ago. Which I use it. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna actually say the best one I ever got was I wish I remember who told me this, but it was just said to me by somebody, and it blew my mind when they said it because they said, "If you're not chasing your dreams."
Hold on. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Never mind.